Welcome to Up Yonda Farm Environmental Education Center's presentation on changing trees. The sun is setting on the summer. Similar to the end of day at dusk, autumn is closing out our summer. The days are getting colder and shorter. The plants are starting to change color and prepare for the winter months. As we venture through Up Yonda during the summer months, we can walk up the hill to our beautiful viewpoint. If you look to the left and to the right, you see nice green trees. The field in front of us is covered with grass and wildflowers. The mountains across the lake are totally green. If we come back in 3 months, we have the fall. Notice that the trees on the left and the right side of the field have changed from green to red, yellow, and orange. The grass is brown, and even the mountains across the lake are starting to change color. In just a few short months, as we walk back up to the top of the hill, we see the ground is covered in snow. There's no grass left. The trees have all lost their leaves. The birches, the maples, and even across the lake, we see just a little bit of green, but we also see patches where there are no leaves at all. This is the view from the top of the hill at Up Yonda. But if we don't want to wait 6 months to keep going back to the same spot to take a picture, in the next slide, we can take a look at 12 months of trees changing color in just 12 seconds. It starts out in the spring with the trees budding, getting fuller of leaves up into the summer, and then we see the colors change as we get into the fall and the leaves drop as we go to the winter. That was so quick. 12 months in 12 seconds. Let's try that again. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. We see that these types of trees have changed colors and lost all their leaves. In this picture here from the High Peaks region in the Adirondacks, just a little bit north of Up Yonda Farm, we can go to a field and we can see both types of trees. Trees that change color in the fall and trees that stay green all year. Look at these beautiful colors here, but these trees will soon lose their leaves. These two trees, and even these ones over here, are going to stay green all year long. The two types of trees we're looking at here are called deciduous and evergreen. Deciduous means to fall off naturally or tending to fall. These types of trees lose their leaves. This red maple in the picture right here was green all summer long, but as we moved into the fall, the green color started disappearing because the tree's leaves stopped producing chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the substance inside the leaves that allows the tree to change sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water into valuable oxygen for us to breathe and sugars for the tree to grow big and strong. So since the green started going away, we see beautiful reds and yellows and oranges. Deciduous trees lose their leaves in the fall. Evergreens stay green all year long. If you think about it, it's like forever green. This white pine right here is very different than the red oak that I showed you in the last slide. Instead of having leaves, this tree has needles. This white pine has 5 needles in every bunch. An easy way to remember that it's a white pine is white has 5 letters and white pines have 5 needles per bunch. You can spell it out. W-H-I-T-E. Evergreens also produce cones. When we look at the parts of the tree, we can see that this tree right here has roots and even the trunk. This tree that's been cut, we're only seeing the bottom of the trunk and the roots. The roots are the part of the tree that goes deep into the ground so that the tree can suck up water to bring to the leaves so that it can make energy. The trunk is the main part of a tree. If you were going to hug a tree, you'd wind up hugging the trunk, not the roots. That's not as much fun. The neat thing about the trunk of a tree is it has rings. I've zoomed in on the trunk of the tree right here, and we can see that this tree has lots and lots of rings. The rings are kind of special. Some rings are super fat, like this ring right here. Other rings are really skinny, like this one right here. A super fat ring means that that tree had a very, very good year. It got lots of water, it got lots of carbon dioxide, and lots of sunlight. It was able to produce a lot of food to store inside the trunk and the roots. But when we see a thin ring like this, that means that tree didn't have a good year. It didn't get enough food to put in storage. So sometimes there's good years, sometimes there's bad years. But by counting all the years, we can tell how old this tree is. The tree we're looking at right now is about 52 years old. As we work our way up from the roots to the trunk, let's get to the branches and see what we find growing on trees. Sometimes, or actually a lot of times, we find leaves growing on trees. Leaves are where the energy production happens. This is where trees make all the energy to send back down into the trunk, into the roots. Sometimes we find fruit on trees. Fruit is a tree's way of making another tree. The apples that we see here have little tiny seeds in the middle. When those seeds get away from the parent tree, they can grow into a brand new apple tree. Sometimes we even find things like fungus growing on a tree. The fungus is going to break down parts of the tree and return those nutrients back into the soil. What do people use trees for? Well, the most important thing that people use trees for is we use them for oxygen. Trees give off the gas that we breathe in. Every time we breathe in, we take in oxygen, and that is what keeps us alive. When we breathe out carbon dioxide. The cool thing is, trees take the gas that we breathe out, sunlight, and water, and they use that to make sugars, which makes the tree big and strong, and oxygen for us. We can also use trees for shade. Sometimes we use it for lumber. During the winter, we sometimes use it to heat our homes. It can be used for furniture. And we could even make our houses out of trees. Another special thing trees do for nature is they stop erosion. Erosion is when wind or water carries soil away from where it was. We can see right here in this stream that water has carried away all of this dirt. That means the ground up here is going to fall down. These volunteers have gone through and they're planting trees by the creek. By planting a tree next to the creek, the tree's roots will hold the soil in place so that this won't happen. Now, these are ways that we use trees. But think about animals. Who else uses trees? Well, our friend Justin right here, the beaver, uses trees as well. Beavers will cut down trees with their teeth and dam up a stream with it. By doing that and blocking the water, they'll make a pond. They can also use trees to make their house and even use trees for food. Beavers love to munch on tender little branches and nice, tender, tiny little leaves. Not just us and beavers use trees for houses, but somebody else might use this hole in a tree for a house as well. We could see an owl, a bluebird, a squirrel, or even a chipmunk using a hole in a tree as their house. So animals, beavers, and people can use trees for houses. We saw that beavers eat trees, but who else might eat the trees? In the Adirondacks, we find that porcupines, bears, and even white-tailed deer are going to munch on the trees. They provide a good source of nourishment when the porcupine eats the bark, when the bear eats the leaves and then takes a nap, and even the deer are going to try to reach up and get those nice tender leaves to help them be big and strong. Thank you for joining us for Up Yonda Farm Environmental Education Center's presentation on changing trees. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.